We disagree with our partners, parents, or friends about many things in our lives. Emotionally mature humans are able to communicate their feelings and empathize at the same time. But for those who are still improving their emotional skills or are just having a hard day and have less energy to manage, here are a few helpful strategies for approaching conflict. When we raise our voices, we immediately put the other person on edge. Being yelled at is an emotional trigger for many people. When our parents raised their voices at us, we were told that we were doing something wrong, and in that moment we felt unworthy of love. It's rare to have a parent say, "I'm very disappointed in you, this behavior is not okay, but remember, I still love you." Naturally, yelling triggers our fight or flight system and greatly affects our ability to hold space and communicate love. Like any anxious situation, it's essential to recognize that yelling leads to defensiveness, which leads to yelling back and more defensiveness. Oftentimes, both partners feel equally hurt, but for completely different reasons, and they only wish to hear, "I'm sorry that I made you feel that way." But since healthy communication isn't possible in this anxious state, neither feels calm enough to communicate, "When you said blank, it made me feel upset." One of the best practices for moments like this is taking a 15-minute break. Go for a walk, listen to some music, and think about why you feel hurt. Come back with the intent of communicating why this was upsetting for you. It's helpful if this strategy is talked about ahead of time in a calm space so that neither person feels abandoned during an actual argument. Like I mentioned before with sulking, we often assume our partner should know exactly why we're upset without telling them. Remember that communication goes both ways. The same way that one person can communicate that they're upset immediately instead of holding onto the feelings for hours or days, the other partner should be able to sense that their partner is visibly upset and say, "I need you to tell me what was upsetting for you." Especially if they were previously told, "It's nothing," but continues to sulk. If you are upset and your partner isn't saying the things that you need them to hear, you need to explain why you are upset. Staying passive and not speaking your feelings is often the default option because it's the easy way out because there's no stressful, vulnerable conversation. However, it is equally as unhealthy because your feelings stay unresolved and cause you to feel resentment. For people who don't like to talk about their feelings, anger can actually have the positive effect of allowing your thoughts to be heard as a strong, "No, this is not okay with me." Like anything else that triggers you, heated arguments keep us in the anxious state, and for our emotional and long-term physical health, our bodies and minds will prosper when we can return to the calm state as soon as possible. Observe the situations in your life that cause you the most anxiety and prepare a plan to get you back to calmness. If you storm out of a fight and leave it unresolved until the next day, you're spending 12 hours in an anxious state. If you take a short breather and then communicate effectively, you can both feel heard and get back to a calm state in a very short time. I keep saying this, but it's so important to embrace vulnerability. It will solve so many of your communication issues and just make you feel more loved all around. It takes tons of practice, but it's totally worth it.